In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event. The story this time is that the iconic TV show eerily predicted the outbreak of the coronavirus.
For over 30 years, The Simpsons has been more than just a hilarious cartoon. It's been strangely predictive of real-world events. From mind control through music to the possibility of a nuclear disaster.
No, this can't be happening!
The show has consistently mirrored the unexpected twists and turns of our world. Now with 2025 fast approaching, what else has The Simpsons predicted?
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III!
What crazy Simpsons scenarios could come true in 2025? In this video, we will look into Simpsons predictions for 2025. AI robots. The Simpsons are kind of spooky when it comes to predicting the future, especially with technology. Take Treehouse of Horror 14, where Homer loses his job due to an alcohol test, hinting at a future where robots take over jobs, something that's happening now with AI. By 2025, robots could be doing a lot more than just assisting. They could be taking over entire roles.
What do you think your greatest skills are?
Well, I would say that one of my greatest skills is my ability to interact with humans in a conversational manner.
Another episode has Homer and his friends training AI robots, a thought that felt crazy back then but is happening today. But just like in the 1994 Itchy and Scratchy Land episode where robots go rogue, there are real warnings about AI turning against us.
I look at their hands, which have turned into buzzsaws. And
With AI advancing so fast, we might be in for some big changes by 2025. What other Simpsons predictions should we look out for in 2025? Could The Simpsons be the ultimate fortune teller? What you are about to hear will blow your mind. Apple Vision Pro. The Simpsons may have seen the future when they showed Springfield residents using virtual reality headsets in their 2016 episode Friends and Family. The characters used the headsets to travel anywhere, finish tasks, and enjoy life without moving a muscle. Sound familiar? This looks a lot like Apple's Vision Pro, which lets users interact with a virtual world using just their eyes and hands.
A video that has gone viral on social media claims The Simpsons predicted the newly released Apple Vision Pro. And in the clip, characters are seen going about their daily lives. You can see them wearing virtual reality headsets.
The episode hilariously shows how people got so caught up in their virtual lives that they forgot about the real world. In 2025, with devices like the Vision Pro gaining popularity, will we see The Simpsons prediction come true? Maybe it's time to prepare for a future where virtual reality blends into our everyday lives in ways we never imagined. FIFA controversy. The Simpsons predicted the infamous FIFA bribery scandal in the episode You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee, Season 25, Episode 16. The storyline shows corrupt soccer officials being arrested and highlights bribery in international football. Interestingly, shortly after the episode aired in 2014, real-life FIFA executives were indeed arrested for corruption.
FIFA, the world governing body for soccer, is under fire yet again for corruption allegations related to the 2018 and 2022 World Cup bids,
making the prediction eerily accurate. The episode also features Homer standing firm against taking a bribe while working as a referee, a humorous take that contrasts sharply with real-world events. The show's writers even depicted Brazil losing to Germany in the World Cup, though in real life, this occurred during the semifinals instead of the finals. Looking ahead to 2025, given FIFA's continued controversies and global discussions about transparency in sports, it wouldn't be surprising if The Simpsons' foresight continues to resonate. Black hole. India's recent space launch might help us reveal new secrets about black holes, but a 2013 Simpsons episode, Treehouse of Horror 23, had something even scarier in mind. In this spooky tale, a small black hole appears in Springfield and starts pulling in objects. As it grows larger, it devours more and more, eventually consuming all of Springfield. But instead of destroying everything, the black hole transports the people and objects to another dimension, where extraterrestrial beings greet them as visitors from another realm. It's a wild idea that raises the question, could black holes really be gateways to other worlds? With space exploration advancing, could something like this actually be discovered in 2025? It's both exciting and terrifying to think about. Holographic technology. In the Simpsons episode titled Bart to the Future, we get a fun look into a future where holograms are used for everything, including sending messages. The episode is funny and impressive, but here's the big question. Could holograms actually replace phones by 2025? Could they become our main way to communicate? In that same episode, there's also a scene where a mailman delivers a letter to Bart in the form of a hologram, complete with the phrase, "smell you later," as a sign-off instead of a typical goodbye. This playful take on future communication is pretty fun to think about, especially when you realize that holograms are already starting to pop up in the real world. You can actually find HD3 holograms in some stores like Best Buy. We're not living in a hologram-filled world just yet, but it's pretty clear that we're on our way. Zombie apocalypse. In The Simpsons, a zombie apocalypse sparked by a food-related crisis becomes a hilariously chilling prediction. In the Treehouse of Horror XX episode, a burger called Burger Square, made from cannibalistic cows, turns out to be a deadly creation. The first person to take a bite, Kent Brockman, quickly transforms into a zombie-like creature called a muncher. The virus spreads fast, turning Springfield into a zombie-infested chaos, leaving only the Simpson family to survive. Bart is mysteriously immune, and the family races to find safety amid the madness. While this wild scenario is full of laughs, it also paints a picture of how a foodborne disaster could spiral out of control. While a zombie outbreak may seem far-fetched, the idea of a food-related pathogen causing mass panic feels a bit too real. Nuclear Armageddon. The Simpsons has once again made a spine-tingling prediction about nuclear Armageddon, and fans can't help but be on edge. In one episode, Homer is the only survivor of a nuclear disaster, and this is a very unsettling thought that feels a little too close for comfort. Another plotline sees a secret organization setting off a nuclear explosion. What's even creepier? The world today is seeing rising nuclear tensions, especially with military threats in the air, like those from Russia. The Simpsons even predicts disruptions like solar flares or nuclear plant meltdowns that could bring chaos. And scientists today are warning about real threats, like cyber attacks on nuclear plants or solar storms messing with our tech. Is it really happening? Only time will tell, but this is a prediction to watch out for. Economic collapse. Imagine this. The Simpsons predicted the financial chaos of 2025, where an economic collapse has the potential to reshape the world as we know it. The show, with its knack for predicting the future, has already given us a glimpse of what this might look like. In one of the episodes, Treehouse of Horror 99, a disastrous economic fallout begins when Homer's job at the nuclear plant goes south, leading to societal breakdown. Fast forward to Back to the Future, and we see Lisa Simpson as president, inheriting a dire budget situation left by the previous administration. Her words echo real-world struggles. As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. Could 2025 see the fulfillment of these Simpsons predictions? If history repeats itself, we might be in for an economic roller coaster, with financial disasters and political power shifts reshaping everything we know. Moving to Mars. One of the most thrilling predictions from The Simpsons is the colonization of Mars. In a standout episode, Lisa and Marge embark on a mission to build a habitat on the Red Planet. While Lisa volunteers for a one-way trip, Marge isn't too thrilled. To stop her, the whole family signs up. The show imagines Mars colonization happening before 2026, though the mission initially fails. Lisa and Marge make it to Mars in 2051, but in a surprising twist, Lisa decides to move to Venus instead. This wild scenario might seem out there, but it aligns with Elon Musk's real-life ambitions for Mars. His SpaceX program is pushing for space travel and aiming to make Mars home for humanity. In fact, many have already applied for this mission, eager to make this space dream a reality. Hover cars. In 2005, The Simpsons predicted that Bart and Lisa would one day use a machine to look into their future. In this vision, Marge leaves Homer after he spends all their money on an underwater house and a hover car. The hover car, though a bit bumpy, takes them through a quantum tunnel, and the scene feels pretty futuristic. Then, in a 1992 episode of Asterisk, Itchy and Scratchy Land Asterisk, we see an older Homer and Bart walking down the street, passing by a hover car on their way to the cinema. By then, hover cars have become as common as any other mode of transportation. Fast forward to today, and while hover cars are still a dream for most, The Simpsons might not be too far off. In other episodes, Bart and Lisa cruise around the city in hover cars, showing us a future where they're the primary way of getting around. With all the advancements in tech and things like Elon Musk's work on electric vehicles, it's not too crazy to think we might see hover cars by 2025. Could The Simpsons have gotten this right? Let's wait and see. Autonomous vehicles. In The Simpsons, self-driving cars take a turn for the worse in the episode Baby You Can't Drive My Car. While self-driving vehicles are a huge leap forward, this episode shows how things can go wrong when technology doesn't work as expected. Homer and Marge end up in a self-driving car, and Homer gets confused about how to steer, only for the car to continue moving even when he needs a bathroom break. It's an unsettling thought, right? In real life, we've seen the development of self-driving cars, though they're still a work in progress. Companies like Tesla and Waymo are making strides, but challenges remain, from safety concerns to the legal side of things. There's also the issue of accidents caused by malfunctioning tech, just as The Simpsons predicted, like people walking into traffic while distracted by their VR headsets or having a self-driving car fail to stop in time. But all of these problems will be solved just in time for 2025, and we will get to fully see autonomous vehicles on our roads without major hiccups. Curling gold medalist. In 2025, The Simpsons' prediction about curling will be even more remarkable. In the 2010 episode Boy Meets Curl, Homer, Marge, and the Skinners are seen training in curling and later competing for Team USA at the Winter Olympics. They face off against Sweden in the final, and against all odds, they win the gold medal. The episode aired with this fictional storyline, but it turned out to be eerily accurate. Fast forward to the 2018 Winter Olympics, where the U.S. men's curling team made history by winning their first ever Olympic gold medal, beating Sweden in the final match, just as The Simpsons predicted. The team, led by John Schuster, became national heroes, clinching the gold in a dramatic 10-7 victory over Sweden. This win went viral because the U.S. had never won Olympic gold in curling before, and the match became one of the most memorable moments of the 2018 Games.
Winning an historic gold medal in Pyeongchang, we welcome to the floor of the big board the U.S. men's curling team, John Schuster, Tyler George, Matt Hamilton, John Landsteiner, and Joe Polo.
Schuster and his team faced a lot of pressure, but they pulled off an incredible victory, cementing their place in Olympic history. What makes the prediction even more impressive is that The Simpsons had predicted this event more than 8 years before it happened. Virtual dining. In one unsettling Simpsons episode, the show takes a futuristic dive into virtual reality. While they might not have predicted the exact rise of VR, they definitely saw its potential dangers. Set in 2030, Homer and Marge use VR glasses and feeding tubes to experience virtual fudge, with Homer humorously complaining that virtual fudge tastes like crap. You'd think this no-calorie food would help Homer shed some pounds, but it doesn't. In real life, a company called AeroBanquets RMX has made virtual dining a reality, and even Royal Caribbean is experimenting with VR dining on their cruises. Picture this. Each bite of food transports you to a new virtual setting. Sounds cool, right? But here's the catch. People start wandering around with their VR headsets, causing accidents on the streets. In the show, Homer and Marge's odd way of eating through a feeding tube while plugged into a VR headset raises the question, could VR really change the way we eat and interact with the world? Sure, it sounds fun and futuristic, but as the episode warns, too much immersion in virtual worlds might lead to people losing touch with reality. So could this be the future of dining and living? Well, it seems like we're already heading that way. Large-scale environmental disaster. Who remembers the Simpsons movie from 2007? You know, the one where Homer somehow manages to dump a ton of pig poop into Springfield Lake, kicking off an environmental crisis of epic proportions? Naturally, the government steps in and wraps the town in a gigantic bubble to quarantine the disaster. A bit over the top? Sure, but the whole environmental mess? Well, that feels a little too close to home, doesn't it? Fast forward to 2025, and there are predictions of climate change right in our faces, rising sea levels, extreme weather, wildfires, and all that good stuff. While a bubble over Springfield might be a bit too extreme, it's not too far-fetched to imagine how these kinds of disasters could lead to huge real-life problems. Take a look at cities like Miami and New York, which are gearing up for flooding, or California, battling constant wildfires. All this stuff may get worse in 2025, and it looks like we might be heading towards some serious environmental consequences unless we start taking action. Solar automobiles. In the Simpsons episode Paths to Glory, Lisa builds a solar-powered car to race in the alternative energy derby, only for a massive blimp from Duff Beer to block the sun and stop her just before the finish line. Classic Simpsons comedy, right? But here's the kicker. In 2025, solar cars could actually become a reality. Companies like Tesla and Lightyear are pushing forward with solar-powered vehicles that could reduce fuel costs and carbon footprints. Sounds like a win, right? But just like Lisa's race, the journey won't be smooth. Big corporate players like those in the fossil fuel industry might throw some shade, literally, at the idea. Still, solar cars are inching closer to reality, and by 2025, you might just be cruising along in a car powered by nothing but the sun. Baby Translator. Envision a world where parents could finally understand every little cry their baby makes. In the Simpsons episode Lisa the Simpson, Martin Prince comes up with the ultimate invention, a baby translator. This device supposedly decodes infant babble into full-on English, and at first, the family just laughs it off as a joke. Marge even says, "You don't have to humor me." But surprisingly, it actually works. And what does baby Maggie say? "And lavish attention on me and entertain me." Talk about a game changer, right? In the episode, this invention opens up the possibility of parents truly understanding what their baby wants. No more guessing or feeling like you're playing detective all day. We're not quite there yet, but the idea is seriously cool. The conclusion of existence. The Simpsons have always been ahead of their time, but in one episode, they took it to a whole new level with a little apocalyptic drama. In a flash of pure Homer wisdom, he predicts the end of the world based on a passage from Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. Stars falling to earth, the rapture, the whole shebang. Sounds like your typical end of the world stuff, right? Homer tells his friends and family that the apocalypse is coming, and when the day finally arrives, everyone's waiting for some big dramatic moment. But here's the twist. Nothing really happens, except Homer finds himself in heaven, of all places. No dramatic battle, no fiery chaos, just a big ol' surprise that he's chilling in the afterlife. This episode reminds us that the end could come at any time, but maybe it won't be as exciting as we think. You know, just a little Simpsons twist on the whole doomsday scenario. Personalized medicine and genetic advancements. In the classic episode Homer the Heretic, Homer visits a futuristic medical office where technology can instantly identify his health issues. It's a quick, almost comedic way to show how advancements in medicine could lead to personalized care tailored to your very DNA. But here's the kicker. This is no longer just TV fantasy. By 2025, we might be living in a world where personalized medicine isn't just for the super rich or Hollywood elites. We're already seeing real breakthroughs with CRISPR gene editing technology and custom-tailored treatments that match your genetic makeup. Picture getting a health diagnosis where your doctor doesn't just guess, but actually knows exactly what's going on inside your body at the genetic level. Sounds like the future, right? Well, the future might just be here before we know it. The rise of 3D printed food. In the episode The Food Wife from season 23, Homer, Marge, and the kids are introduced to the futuristic world of 3D printed food. They get to taste a meal that's created by a 3D printer that builds food layer by layer, almost like a mini food factory. While this might have seemed like a hilarious, far-fetched concept back then, the idea of 3D printed food is no longer just a funny cartoon idea. it's becoming a reality. Companies around the world are developing 3D printers that create food, using everything from chocolate to pizza dough. Some are even trying to make these techie meals more sustainable by printing foods with protein-rich ingredients like algae or plant-based substitutes. By 2025, we could be printing our meals at home, or at least grabbing a slice of pizza or a fancy dessert created by a printer in a restaurant. And who knows, with the rise of sustainability and innovation in food production, 3D printed food might become as common as microwaving a ready meal. Music-induced mind control. Some people consider the Simpsons episode New Kids on the Block from 2001 one of the creepiest they've ever seen. And honestly, it does give you chills. In this episode, Bart and his buddies, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph, form a boy band called Party Posse. But here's the kicker. This band isn't just a band. It's actually a secret operation by the US Navy to pump kids' brains full of subliminal messages.
They're recruiting people with subliminal messages.
Their hit song Drop the Bomb has a chorus that says Ivan et Nioje, which, when you flip it, actually says join the Navy.
Join the Navy.
Kind of spooky, right? And the strange part? This episode feels like it's creeping closer to reality. Some people argue that music, especially certain genres like hip-hop, has been used to brainwash listeners, and some even believe that music in general has been a tool used by elites to control the masses. Weird, but not entirely impossible, right? Music is everywhere, and it's powerful, so could it be used to mess with our minds? The Simpsons sure thought so. In this episode, the boy band's goal is way beyond just having fun. It's all about spreading a secret message to influence kids' thoughts, like a form of mind control. Which of these predictions excites you the most? Are you curious to see any of them happen in 2025? Video calls and smartwatches. In the episode that aired on March 19, 1995, which talks about Lisa's wedding, The Simpsons made a shocking prediction about video calls and smartwatches. This particular episode was surreal.
Simpsons also predicted the Apple Watch in 1995, 20 years before it was introduced.
Because it was set in the future where we see Lisa communicating with her family via a video call. It must be noted that at the time this was aired in the 90s, this technology was not available. This made the scene futuristic. This is not all because Lisa's fiancé was shown wearing a watch-like device that also functions as a communication tool, greatly resembling modern-day smartwatches. Fast forward to 2024, video calls and smartwatches are the order of the day with the advent of smartphones and phone applications like Skype and FaceTime. Smartwatches don't only tell time, but are used as accessories to track fitness, receive notifications, and even make calls. But that's not all, because the most amazing part of the video is yet to come. World War III. Season 11 contained an episode titled Barth to the Future, which aired on March 19th in the year 2000. In this episode, a startling prediction of the possibility of World War III was talked about.
Wake up, everybody! It's World War III! Quick, down to the fallout shelter. The bombs are dropping!
It showed a future where Lisa Simpson becomes the President of the United States after inheriting a country that was crumbling from Donald Trump. One of the scenes shows Lisa talking about the budget crisis she had inherited from her predecessors, which implied that things had gotten rock bottom before she took over.
You know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Although the prediction of World War III hasn't come to pass as of now, the portrayal of a future riddled with global conflicts is eerily accurate in capturing the current anxieties of our time. With the ongoing tensions between nations like Israel and Palestine, for example, with world powers like the US and Russia at opposite sides, and the Ukraine-Russian war, all these are bases for another world war, if you think the post-virtual reality. Virtual reality gaming was predicted as far back as 1998 by The Simpsons in the episodes titled Friends and Family. This episode shows Homer and Marge eating a virtual fudge through a straw on their VR headsets. Back then, it looked like something impossible, but with the recent advancements in technology, impossibilities have been made possible. A real-life company named Aero Banquets RMX has made VR foods.
Dining in virtual reality is pretty trippy.
It's tingling in my mouth.
It allows you to eat various foods such as sushi in Japan or a steak in Argentina while making use of VR to change your taste perception, thereby reframing the human mind and changing how we experience food. AI taking over jobs. Although many experts have since been sounding the alarm of the possibility of AI taking over people's jobs in years to come, it seems like the reality is here with us in 2024. However, The Simpsons has long predicted this as far back as 2012 with the episode titled Them Robot. This episode shows Homer losing his job due to Mr. Burns replacing all of the power plant's employees with robots. Mr. Burns says in this episode that humans will train the robots, then the robots would replace them. This is exactly how AI works in real life. In Japan, for example, real-life waiter robots are already replacing human waiters. There's also the belief that taxi drivers would be replaced by self-driving cars.
Fully autonomous cars picking up people and dropping them off just like a taxi, except the big difference is there's no driver.
ChatGPT would also replace some jobs, for example, coders, paralegals, financial advisors, stock traders, graphics designers, even translators. And of course, the training ChatGPT is based on was done by humans, which is much like what the episode of The Simpsons predicted. Kamala Harris becomes president. In the same Bart to the Future episode mentioned earlier, a surprising prediction about Kamala Harris becoming president was made, and this was in the form of Lisa being president of the United States. After entering power, Lisa mentions that she inherited a country that was in tough financial situations from the previous president, which was implied as Donald Trump. And this prediction came through, however, in part, when Kamala Harris became the vice president of the United States in 2021.
Look at this picture. Lisa is also seen wearing a purple suit and pearl necklace, which is seemingly identical to what Vice President Kamala Harris wore on Inauguration Day,
which made her the first female Black and first Asian American to hold this position. And if anything happens to the current president, Kamala would become the president, thereby fulfilling the prediction made by The Simpsons. It's surreal and shocking how a cartoon has the ability to predict such futuristic events. AI Apocalypse. In the episode Bart Gets an F from Season 2, which aired on October 11, 1990, The Simpsons made a chilling prediction about an AI apocalypse. In this episode, Bart Simpson faces the prospect of failing the 4th grade and seeks help from Martin Prince, who is an overachieving classmate of his. In one scene, Bart daydreams about robots taking over the world, with machines ruling over humanity and enslaving humans. This humorous depiction of a dystopian future seemed far-fetched at the time. However, fast-forwarding to our present day, and the growing concerns about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence have become more common.
This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot.
While we haven't experienced a full-blown AI apocalypse, there are growing concerns about the misuse of AI technology and its potential impact on society. Issues such as AI replacing humans at jobs, privacy concerns, and the development of autonomous weapons have raised alarm bells even among experts. Disney buying Fox. In Season 10, the episode When You Dish Upon a Star, which aired on November 8, 1998, The Simpsons made a perfect prediction of the acquisition of 20th Century Fox by Disney. Homer in this episode becomes a gossip columnist and befriends Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who are shown living in lavish mansions. Whilst driving to the house, a sign was seen in the background which shows 20th Century Fox as a division of Walt Disney's company. This little and unnoticeable joke turned out to be a prediction because in December of 2017, Disney announced its acquisition of 20th Century Fox and other holdings of 21st Century Fox.
Disney and 21st Century Fox, as well as consumers. The new combined company will include Fox's movie and TV studios and cable networks, and together the two companies will have 46 million subscribers around the world.
For a staggering amount valued at about $71 million 2 years later. This merger brought together two of the biggest giants in the world of entertainment. Disney gained control over Fox's vast library of contents, including The Simpsons itself. Trump's 2024 presidential bid. The accuracy of The Simpsons' predictions has always brought the questions as to how exactly the show gets it right. Perhaps the writers and producers of The Simpsons are making use of dark magic. However, they took it up a notch with their most dramatic prediction about Trump's 2024 presidential ambition. On Tuesday, November 15, 2022, former President Donald Trump, arguably one of the most controversial presidents, depending on who you ask, decided to reclaim the throne he lost in 2021. In his usual grand style, Trump took the stage and announced his ambition. That was when Al Jean, the screenwriter for The Simpsons, decided it was their time to shine again. Sharing a scene from a 2015 episode of the animated series, Jean showed the world that they had predicted this long before Trump declared his intentions.
I just started drawing pictures of Homer floating around in Trump's hair. And, it's this whole sort of back and forth thing that they write something, I draw something, and, and then the team draws something. It's fantastic.
In the 2015 episode titled Bart to the Future, Homer Simpson flies past a sign in the background that reads, Trump 2024. Coincidence or predictions? We don't know. However, this was way before Trump was ever president. These different predictions with their level of accuracy has been shocking to everyone, but the next one takes it to another level. Tragic submarine accident. A prediction that left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth after it came true was the tragic Russian submarine accident. In a 1994 episode of The Simpsons titled Marge Gets a Job, we see Homer working as a safety inspector at a plant. One scene shows a submarine imploding due to a design flaw, trapping and killing all the crew inside.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we're looking into a picture going around online this month. It claims to show a screenshot of a 2002 episode of The Simpsons that eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with two Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt. So, did The Simpsons really predict the future?
For a sitcom that has earned the distinction of being the longest-running American sitcom, The Simpsons has achieved yet another remarkable reputation over the years.
Welcome to Fox News, your voice for evil. Tonight, we'll be interviewing the top two candidates for Springfield's 24th Congressional District.
It's now famously recognized as the show with an uncanny knack for predicting events that transcend time. From the rise of Donald Trump to the Disney-Fox merger, The Simpsons has showcased an almost supernatural foresight through its storytelling, and it seems never to miss. Now, as we approach 2025, fans are buzzing with excitement and curiosity about what the eccentric residents of Springfield might foresee next. What have they predicted for 2025? Could their predictions shape the larger picture of our future? Join us as we reveal The Simpsons' prediction for 2025 that will blow your mind.
One of the biggest happened to be when they predicted Donald Trump would become president. Well, now fans are drawing similarities from last week's inauguration. Look at this.
An extremely large-scale environmental disaster. One of the most overlooked predictions by The Simpsons has to be the warning of an impending large-scale environmental disaster. This scenario was vividly portrayed in the Simpsons movie, released in 2007. If you recall, in the film, Springfield experiences an ecological catastrophe that prompts the government to quarantine the entire town under a massive glass dome. Does that ring a bell? While the movie doesn't specify a timeline for such an event, its message is clear. Unchecked environmental negligence could lead to drastic consequences. Given the increasing frequency of climate-related disasters, it's hard not to wonder if this fictional scenario might become alarmingly real, potentially as soon next year. For a fact, this year has witnessed a series of devastating environmental disasters worldwide. Starting with the US, the climate events have cost the government over $15 billion in damages. From the destructive hailstorms in Texas and Colorado to the severe tornado outbreaks and the record-breaking heat waves that affected Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands,
Welcome back. Many Puerto Ricans are dealing with extreme heat. Now, we're talking about temperatures that feel as hot as 125 degrees.
Each and every one of these events has contributed to the damages accounted for in 2024. But it's not just those disasters that the U.S. has faced. There have also been catastrophic wildfires in California and Oregon that laid waste to thousands of acres of land. The drought conditions in the southeast and the floods in the Midwest also didn't help matters. It's been one disaster after the other in the United States. As horrid as that might sound, the U.S. isn't the only country facing environmental disasters. Apparently, other regions like Southern Europe and parts of Asia have faced the same predicament, leading to thousands of deaths and way more infrastructure failures than the governments could account for. In truth, it's all a grim picture of our planet's fragile nature, one that the Simpsons seem to have always known way more about. As it stands, scientists warn that without coordinated global action, these frequent disasters are bound to converge into an even larger catastrophe. But the scare right here is that it might already be too late for all of that. With these disasters already compounded this year, we might have to expect worse in the year 2025. The question here is if we can possibly build something almost similar to a dome to protect the world. What do you think? It sure sounds ridiculous, but so did many of the predictions from The Simpsons until they became a reality. Colonization of Mars.
Bill Gates, Stephen Hawking, Paul McCartney, Michael Jordan, Michelle Kwan. They must be starting a new civilization on Mars with our best and brightest.
If we are being honest, this prediction by The Simpsons is one of those predictions that is the most anticipated by many. It involves a scene in season 27, episode 16, where Lisa picks up interest in signing up for the Mars One mission, much to the dismay of her family. Seeing that they couldn't dissuade her, Marge joined Lisa, so they became the only ones left in the program. Eventually, what makes things interesting is when they fast forward 35 years later, showing Marge and Lisa living on Mars. Normally, this sort of dream would seem out of reach, but with Elon Musk at the forefront of space exploration, this very episode from The Simpsons is starting to materialize way faster than we could ever imagine. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk's SpaceX project has always had one focal point in the last decade, and that is the colonization of Mars. This became known to the public when he announced the initiative at the International Astronautical Congress in 2016. For a project that seems rather ambiguous, Elon Musk has proposed to debunk the ambiguity by sending cargo down to the planet. However, the mission has not been completed yet. Still, that doesn't change the fact that the SpaceX company has made quite a lot of progress. Having gotten a proper layout and overview of the planet, they are a step further to accomplishing the cargo missions to Mars in the first quarter of the year. In all honesty, this would be a great achievement for mankind. However, this is only a primary goal for Elon Musk's SpaceX. The main goal is to send humans down to Mars to colonize the planet, and it's likely to happen in 2025. Elon Musk said it himself at the Start Me Up HK Festival in Hong Kong. He said that our very sustenance as human beings relies on us going to Mars.
Just successfully landed its most ambitious ever mission to Mars. After a 7-month journey through space, the rover, called Perseverance, survived a perilous high-speed plunge through the Martian atmosphere.
In his words, "Since you back up your hard drive, we should back up life too." It gets even more interesting. Apparently, while the billionaire was talking to the moderator on the forum, he also hinted at how human missions are bound to start in 2025, despite the doubts about the company's technical and financial abilities to colonize the planet. In truth, the mission is in motion already. Elon's recent investments have all been to generate the revenue needed to see to the accomplishment of this mission. So when you finally see humans on Mars, just know that the Simpsons saw it first. Suppression of green energy. Do you know how the world is slowly transitioning toward the complete adoption of solar vehicles and EVs? Well, it seems like not everyone is particularly excited about this development. A vivid depiction of this displeasure can be seen in a recent episode of The Simpsons titled Paths to Glory. In this episode, Lisa Simpson, who happens to be a renowned inventor, builds a solar-powered vehicle that she uses in a roller derby. Although she was barely a fraction mile from winning, a Duff blimp blocks out the sun and reduces her speed to 0 before she crosses the finish line. Of course, the whole thing led to the townspeople laughing at her invention as a failure. Normally, this scene could be easily overlooked. Still, when properly looked at in the grand scheme of things, and the Simpsons' ability to predict future events, we just simply can't turn a blind eye as to how this could relate to a possible event that is likely to unfold in 2025. It turns out that while companies like Tesla continue to build EVs and solar-powered vehicles, big oil companies like ExxonMobil aren't really excited, and it's easy to figure out why. As these vehicles continue to take on the roads, sales of oil would reduce drastically, hence causing the companies to run out of business. Because the companies know the implications involved, they have long been looking for faults in EVs and solar-powered vehicles.
Automakers across the world are racing to produce a future free of fossil fuels, but the electric car of tomorrow is anything but traditional.
This is the future.
Meet the Aptera, a 3-wheeled electric vehicle that can run on the power of the sun.
One that would likely shift the purchase of automobiles in their favor. Just to tell you how desperate they are, there was even a time when a subsidiary of ExxonMobil, Mobil Oil, launched an ad campaign against EVs. The ad read, "Freedom means not being attached to a cable. Disconnecting feels a lot like breaking free." Imagine that. With the global adoption of EVs already surpassing 10 million, ExxonMobil is starting to do more than ad campaigns. As a matter of fact, while they look towards the suppression of these vehicles, they have outlined a couple of goals for the year 2025 to win back the trust of customers. One of them is to look for a means to reduce carbon footprint and invest in lower carbon alternatives. While at it, they still work behind the scenes by lobbying against legislation that promotes EV infrastructure and regulatory policies favoring renewable energy. In various U.S. states, Exxon and other oil-backed groups have even partnered with organizations like the American Petroleum Institute to oppose plans that would expand EV charging stations. This is more like putting their very own Duff blimp out there to make people see how solar vehicles and EVs are a failure. That said, we might be seeing a significant shift in 2025. If that happens, The Simpsons predicted it first: flying cars. Talking about automobiles, there's a chance that we are going to be seeing flying cars in 2025. Yes, you heard that right. We are talking about actual flying cars. A perfect description of what this would be like was seen in the 1992 episode titled Itchy and Scratchy Land. In this episode, Bart and Lisa got to see their future thanks to a machine that Professor Frank invented. However, Bart's own future wasn't really as exciting as Lisa's. Apparently, in Bart's future, he ended up spending all their savings just to get one of these flying cars, as it was seen as a normal ride at the time. Imagine just how furious Marge must have been. Well, we aren't here to question Bart's comedic bad choices. What you should pay attention to is the presence of flying cars in this episode. If we had talked about the possibility of there being flying cars, say maybe a decade ago, many would have laughed over the idea as being ridiculous. Heck, even in this present time of ours, for many, it is something to be skeptical about. However, what if we tell you that we might be seeing cars in the air in 2025? Still don't believe it? Well, the company known as Samson Sky has stepped up to make the unbelievable happen. Samson Sky's revolutionary Switchblade has been on a mission to redefine personal transportation since 2008. Their goal has always been to ensure the convenience of a car by ensuring both the speed and functionality of an aircraft. While tests and experiments have been ongoing behind the scenes for years now, they are finally ready to release their flying sports cars to the public in 2025. Just to tell you how much people are excited for these cars that are about to take the roads, there are already over 1,600 pre-orders worldwide. Still, the number slowly continues to increase. By our estimation and that of The Simpsons, by the time the car would be officially released, they would rapidly become so rampant that you'd casually see them in the skies while taking a work. While the company was giving a hint on what to expect, they said the vehicle is a 3-wheeled hybrid machine that is capable of converting from a car to an aircraft in less than 3 minutes. They also pointed out how it could reach speeds of up to 201 kilometers per hour on the road and cruise in the skies at 257 kilometers per hour. As if that's not enough, the car is bound to fit just about any small airstrip and any garage. Pretty cool, right? In a few months, we wouldn't have to worry about the means to bypass urban traffic anymore. Clearly, this is one of the most exciting news stories out there, and we bet you didn't see that one coming. Although, while you might have never imagined the possibility of flying cars, The Simpsons did. Our advice is best to keep about $200,000 aside for the car that's coming to take the skies. You definitely don't want to end up like Bart. That would be a shame. Which of The Simpsons predictions do you see happening in 2025? How soon do you think they are bound to happen? The show depicts him as a washed-up actor who has lost his charm and fame, reduced to doing low-budget movies and struggling to stay relevant. This brief scene was meant to be a joke, but fans have started to wonder if there's more to it over time. Surprisingly, as we enter 2024, the prediction seems to carry a strange weight. George Clooney, known for his roles in blockbuster films and status as a Hollywood icon, has stepped back from the limelight in recent years. While Clooney is still respected and admired, his acting career has taken a quieter turn, with fewer significant roles and more focus on directing, producing, and his philanthropic efforts. This shift in his career mirrors the fictional fall from grace that The Simpsons hinted at. But what makes this prediction intriguing is the strange accuracy with which The Simpsons has previously forecasted other events. Clooney's career isn't that bad, as the show joked. Still, the idea of a beloved star fading from the spotlight feels oddly familiar in the context of the series' strange foresight. Hologram takes over. In 2024, one of The Simpsons' most fascinating predictions is coming to life with the idea of holograms taking over various aspects of our lives. This idea was first mentioned in a 1995 episode, Homer the Great. In this episode, Homer joins a secret society called the Stonecutters.
Ah, here it is! The Stonecutters! This is it! My ticket in! They have to let me join if I'm a son of a member!
Where he's treated like a VIP and even encounters a futuristic, holographic version of himself. Flash forward to 2024, and holograms are no longer just a quirky part of TV shows. They are becoming an integral part of our daily lives. Companies like Microsoft are developing HoloLens, which is a mixed reality headset.
Mixed reality allows us to find new ways to express creatively and also problem solve creatively.
It blends digital content with the natural world using augmented reality, AR. It features see-through lenses that project holographic images onto the user's accurate worldview. This allows users to interact with both physical and virtual objects simultaneously. Now, you might actually be right if you think they're starting to replace real-life interactions. For example, companies use holograms for virtual product launches and promotional events. In some places, holographic customer service representatives answer questions and solve issues, making businesses more efficient. But what's particularly intriguing is how The Simpsons managed to foresee this trend decades ago. Now, as holograms become more sophisticated and widespread, it feels like the show was ahead of its time, envisioning a future where digital and physical worlds merge more seamlessly. Disney acquires 20th Century Fox. In 2024, one of the most intriguing Simpsons predictions has come true with Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox.
Disney owns The Simpsons, and I kind of remember that The Simpsons predicted this just a couple years ago.
They predict all sorts of things. It's really, really scary. So take a look at this. This was back in 1998. They had a sign that read 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney. That was in 1998.
This prediction first appeared in the show's Bart to the Future episode in 1999. In this episode, Lisa Simpson, now an adult and the President of the United States, mentions that her administration is dealing with the aftermath of Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox. At the time, Disney's acquisition of Fox seemed like a far-fetched idea, but 2017 it became a reality. Disney announced it bought most of 21st Century Fox's assets for $71.3 billion. This included famous movie studios, TV networks, and a treasure trove of beloved franchises. The deal, which was finalized in March 2019, meant that Disney now owned iconic Fox properties like The Simpsons, Avatar, and X-Men, The prediction in The Simpsons was striking because it showed how the show often mixes humor with surprisingly accurate foresight. Lisa's mention of Disney's acquisition of Fox was more than just a funny gag. It hinted at the possibility of significant media consolidation long before it happened. This merger reshaped the entertainment industry, combining Disney's expansive content with Fox's rich library, leading to a powerhouse in media and entertainment. By predicting this significant media merger, the show once again proved its knack for anticipating future trends and events. Artificial intelligence apocalypse. The Simpsons' prediction about an artificial intelligence apocalypse gained much attention in 2024. In a 1994 episode titled Treehouse of Horror Vive, the show portrayed a frightening scenario where Homer's attempts to create a new AI robot led to chaos. The AI, originally designed to help, quickly turned against humans, reflecting fears about technology getting out of control. This storyline was pure fiction, but it resonated with real-world concerns. Fast forward to 2024, and AI has become a significant topic in tech and media. With advancements in AI, from chatbots to complex algorithms, there's growing debate about the potential dangers. Some worry that as AI becomes more advanced, it could lead to unintended consequences if not carefully managed. The Simpsons episode humorously exaggerated these fears, showing a world where AI becomes a rogue force, controlling and threatening humanity. While AI doesn't threaten our existence, AI running amok captures ongoing discussions about AI ethics, safety, and regulation. This next prediction has got everyone talking. Trump, 2024 presidential bid.
16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
The Simpsons nailed yet another prediction with its depiction of Donald Trump's 2024 presidential bid. In 2015, an episode titled The Birds and the Bees featured a shocking plot twist. Lisa Simpson reading a futuristic newspaper headline about Trump running for president again in 2024. This seemed like a far-fetched joke at the time, given that Trump was still in his first term. Fast forward to 2024, and Trump's re-election bid became a reality. The prediction from this episode proved mysteriously accurate. Trump, who had served as the 45th president from 2017 to 2021, announced his campaign for a second term. The timing and accuracy of this prediction have left many viewers astounded. Nobel Prize winner. In a classic display of The Simpsons' strange ability to predict the future, the show's episode Lisa the Skeptic from 1994 featured a fascinating prophecy involving the Nobel Prize. Lisa and her friends make predictions for the Nobel Prize winners in the episode. One of the names mentioned was Bengt Holmstrom, a real-life economist. This prediction was incredibly accurate as Bengt Holmstrom and another economist named Oliver Hart won the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. Holmstrom's work on contract theory, which deals with how contracts and incentives shape behavior in economics, was recognized for its profound impact on the field. This episode aired over 20 years before Holmstrom's Nobel win, making it an impressive example of the show's foresight. Barbie movie and Trump's arrest.
We have breaking news.
Simpsons predict Trump's arrest. The Simpsons have done it again. It only has been 4 months into 2023, and 2 brand new accurate predictions have been made. The Barbie movie and the arrest of the President of the United States.
The Simpsons have once again hit the mark with 2 remarkable predictions that came true in 2024, the release of the Barbie movie and Donald Trump's arrest. Years before Barbie's big screen debut became a reality in 2023, The Simpsons made an uncanny prediction. In a 2007 episode called The Birds and the Bees, the show featured a scene where the character Martin Prince was seen with a Barbie movie poster. It was a brief and quirky reference, but it predicted the exact film to make waves in the movie industry over a decade later. Then came another jaw-dropping prediction. In a 2015 episode, The Birds and the Bees again, the show included a storyline about Donald Trump facing legal troubles. The episode depicted a fictional news report about Trump being arrested, which seemed like pure satire then. But now, in 2024, Trump faces legal issues leading to his arrest. Both predictions came true in ways that left many viewers astonished. The Barbie movie made its way to theaters and became a cultural phenomenon. Meanwhile, Trump's arrest echoed the fictional scenario from the show, Greece economy downfall. In a fascinating example of The Simpsons, seemingly predicting real-world events, the show featured a storyline about Greece's economic troubles long before they became a major news topic. The episode in question is The Simpsons Guy, a crossover with Family Guy that aired in 2014. In this episode, Homer and his family travel to Greece. The episode humorously depicts the country as financially distressed, with jokes about Greece's economic problems. The episode's portrayal, while exaggerated for comedic effect, was strangely prescient of the real-life economic crisis Greece faced shortly after. It is no news that Greece experienced a severe financial crisis with high debt levels and economic instability. The crisis led to widespread unemployment, austerity measures, and significant financial challenges for the country. The situation attracted global attention as Greece struggled with its debt and the implications for the Eurozone. However, one thing is clear. This episode's accurate prediction of Greece's economic troubles is another example of how the show's creators seem to have a surprising ability to anticipate future events, even in global finance.
3 years on, this off-the-cuff joke has become eerily true. And there it is right there. Europe puts Greece on eBay.
Autocorrect fails. This prediction comes from a 1994 episode titled Lisa the Beauty Queen. In this episode, Lisa Simpson participates in a beauty pageant. She uses a device called the Simpsons Touch, a sort of early version of a touch-screen device. At one point, Lisa tries to send a message. Still, it gets hilariously garbled, transforming her intended words into something completely different. This scene is a funny take on how technology might mess up simple tasks like sending messages. Fast forward to the 20th century, and autocorrect features on smartphones have become a significant part of everyday life. Autocorrect is designed to correct typing errors. However, it often produces comically incorrect or confusing results, much like what Lisa experienced in the episode. People have shared countless funny stories and screenshots of autocorrect fails, where messages turn into bizarre and unintended phrases. While the show didn't predict autocorrect per se, it did anticipate the humorous potential of technology failing us in everyday scenarios. Censoring Michelangelo's David. In a surprising twist, The Simpsons seemed to predict a controversial debate about censoring famous art. The episode in question is The Birds and the Bees, aired in 1992. In this episode, the town of Springfield debates whether to censor Michelangelo's iconic statue of David.
More than 1 million people visit the Statue of David every year. It is the most iconic piece in one of the most visited museums in Florence.
The plot revolves around Mr. Burns, who decides to sponsor a new exhibit at the Springfield Museum. He chooses Michelangelo's David, but the town's more conservative residents demand that the statue be covered up because of its nudity. Fast forward to recent years, and similar controversies have occurred globally. In 2024, there were debates about whether public displays of Michelangelo's David should be censored or altered to fit modern sensibilities. This debate often revolves around decency and cultural values, mirroring the fictional scenario in The Simpsons, Siegfried and Roy Tiger attack. In a twist that left many astonished, The Simpsons seemed to predict the famous Siegfried and Roy Tiger attack years before it happened. This prediction is one of the show's most scary and intriguing examples of seemingly foreseeing real-life events. In 1993, The Simpsons aired an episode called Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling. In this episode, Mr. Burns builds a casino in Springfield and hires a German magician duo, Gunther and Ernst, who closely resemble the real-life illusionists Siegfried and Roy. During their performance, one of the magicians is attacked by a white tiger. What if I told you this scene mirrors a shocking real-life event years later? So during a live performance in Las Vegas, Siegfried and Roy's show took a dramatic turn when Roy Horn was attacked by one of their white tigers. The attack was severe and nearly ended Roy's life, making headlines around the world. The resemblance between the fictional attack in the episode and the real-life incident was uncanny, sparking intrigue among fans and critics alike. U.S. men's curling team winning gold.
Homer Simpson are depicted on the U.S. Olympic curling team, and they take home the gold
just like the U.S. men's curling team did for the first time ever this weekend.
Again, The Simpsons seem to have predicted a significant moment in the world of sports with their 2010 episode Boy Meets Curl. In this episode, Homer and Marge become an unlikely curling team and win a gold medal at the Olympics, with Sweden taking the silver. Then we came to the Winter Olympics, and the real-life U.S. men's curling team achieved a stunning victory that made fans remember this episode. Led by Skip John Schuster, the U.S. team won the gold medal, while Sweden claimed the silver, just as the show had portrayed. The episode depicted Homer and Marge's victory as an unexpected and dramatic upset, much like how surprising the real U.S. team's win was. Before the Olympics, curling wasn't a strong suit for the U.S., and many had low expectations for their performance. The show's storyline about an underdog team winning against the odds captured what really went down in reality. The show has continued to be entertaining yet surprisingly accurate. Mars colonization. In the Simpsons episode Deep Space Homer, Homer Simpson becomes an astronaut and ends up on a space mission. The show, aired in 1994, playfully imagined space travel and hinted at future colonization. Homer's adventures in space seemed like a far-off fantasy back then. Still, this episode mirrors real-life developments in space exploration. In recent years, the idea of colonizing Mars has moved from fiction to severe scientific discussion. Companies like SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, are working on technology to send humans to Mars and establish a colony there. The ambition to make Mars a new home for humanity has captured the imagination of scientists, engineers, and space enthusiasts alike. While comedic, the show's portrayal of space missions tapped into the real-world fascination with exploring new frontiers. As real-life plans to colonize Mars become more concrete, it's striking how closely these developments echo the show's playful take on space exploration. This connection between fiction and reality has continued to stun fans of the show and scientists alike. Music-induced mind control. The Simpsons episode The Springfield Connection, aired in 1996, features a humorous subplot about music used for mind control. In the episode, a rock band uses a music player as a mind control device, a comical take on the power of music. However, recent developments in technology and psychology make this idea seem surprisingly relevant. Music's impact on our emotions and behaviors has been well documented. Studies reveal that specific tunes can change our mood, improve focus, or influence our choices. This phenomenon is utilized in various fields, such as marketing and therapy, where music helps guide our emotional responses and decisions. Technological advances have furthered this concept. Neurotechnology, which involves manipulating brain activity through sound and other stimuli, is progressing. While it's not yet possible to control thoughts directly, it's clear that music and sound significantly affect our mental state. The Simpsons had already humorously imagined a future where music could be used for mind control, and this playful prediction mirrors real-world research and technological advancements. What do you think about these strange but accurate predictions of The Simpsons? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the following video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.